I told the venue, let me work here. In return, you let me get on stage for free. And the venue shut down. If you don't like my work, go report these accounts.
What is a political comedian and what is a clean comic?
You can be supporter of the establishment while appreciating a good joke. I
Comedy.
hope I don't get beaten up after all.
I don't think you're anything to get beaten up.
तो तुमने ये रील डाल दिया, उसके बाद तुम्हारा फोन नंबर लीक हो गया, तुम्हारा शो कैंसिल, वेन्यू तोड़वा दिया. Also, I am 30 right now. लाइफ का पहला 10 साल माँ बाप मारा, दूसरा 10 साल टीचर लोग मारा, तीसरा 10 साल.
Our next guest went to law school, looked around and thought, yeah, no, this isn't for me. Spent the next 9 years doing stand-up in Mumbai basements, sometimes 8 shows in a single day, with no video, no Instagram, no digital footprint whatsoever, only stage time. Then, earlier a few years ago, he put his work out, and it turned out the jokes were worth the wait. He does political comedy, he gets police visits, and he still goes up the next night. On this episode of The Midnight Hour, we have Masoom Rajwani. Hi, Masoom. So you've dropped out of law school to do comedy. I'm sure your parents must have been very, very thrilled by this idea.
They had no clue until 1 year later. So every sem you get your results. At the end of the year, you have KT, you have to go ask for the fees, and that's when I had to tell them कि मैंने exams ही नहीं दिए. I saw some videos by AIB and I was like, cool, let's do this. I just figured out कि यहाँ पे stand up होता है, यहाँ पे जा सकते हैं. Where do these people perform? What's an open mic? I think back then we only had some 50 comics in the country. 50 also is an overstatement. There was some like 25-30 people. I consumed all of their work. I figured this is how they function. I figured these are the new comedians who haven't uploaded things online. This is how I can participate, and I started doing that.
And you were doing gigs, or you were interning. What was it
No,
like?
so if you had to get on stage, which is still the case, you have to pay a token amount, which is like a 200 rupees.
Yeah.
And I couldn't source that from my home while keeping this a secret. So I told the venue, let me work here, and in return, you let me get on stage for free. And the venue shut down.
We'll get to the venue shutting down as well, but I want to know, how did you break this to your parents?
I just told them I don't want to do it. Don't pay the fees. I told them don't pay the fees. Rather give me that money so that I can go do a stand-up workshop.
And they said, they agreed.
No, there was a huge fight.
How did you get your way out of it? Imagine there are so many young boys who are looking at this. They have
Don't
parents
drop
who
out.
would-
Whoever's watching this, fucking don't drop out. What a mistake. I just told them this is... Also, the thing is, I did not want to study law to begin with. I wanted to study journalism. And I wanted to go to a particular college, which was the cool kid college.
Which is?
It was Jai Hind. It's one of the colleges in South Bombay, जहाँ पे I think John Abraham has studied, Aishwarya has studied. Fucking fancy ass.
It's very cool people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right next to Marine Drive. Like Marine Drive is like a minute away. I was like, I want to go there. I want to party. I want to do what all the cool kids do. My parents are like, you're not going there. You'll end up drinking, smoking. And I couldn't tell them I already drink and smoke. So let me just go there. That's what their argument was. And then I was like, cool, then you have to pay the fees. You select the stream. I'll just stick to it. We'll just be done with this. There's no more discussion happening. If I don't get to choose what I'm doing, and you are going to be the landlord in this situation and not a parent, you pick and I'll just play along. So they paid the fees, which was also some 12,000 rupees. I did 2 years very begrudgingly. I was like, नहीं पढ़ना है. फिर वो टाइम पे JNU वाला इंसिडेंट भी हुआ था. तो मैंने देखा कॉलेज का थोड़ा पॉलिटिक्स ऑफ है.
So this is 2016.
2016.
Yeah. And you're in your first
This
year.
is...
Yeah, 2016.
JNU happened in 2016 Feb. I remember that very well. 14, 15, 16. Those are the 3 years. Yeah.
So very important years actually, because you've got the India Against Corruption in 2013.
Yes.
then
BJP coming in power
BJP
in
coming
14.
in power, and then JNU. These
Yes.
monumental
Yes.
incidents that happened.
Yes.
And
I-
they've shaped your comedy, is it?
I just couldn't stand the अंधभक्ति that हम लोग बस सही कर रहे हैं. हर चीज में after this new PM everything is right. So I always had an ick about it. And then as things progressed, I saw that, oh, this is not true. Some people just don't understand it. Their understanding of politics is very limited because people my age borrow their politics from what their parents discuss at home. It takes time for either you come from a family that has seen oppression and politics firsthand, or you're just someone who's a parrot. And I was just surrounded by parrots. So I was like, मेरे को यही बात सुननी है तो माँ बाप से बात कर लूँ, सेम ही तो चीज़ रिपीट कर रहे हैं. So I distanced my very few friends from college. The 3 years I studied law there.
So was it just I do not want to agree with what everybody around me is saying, or did you critically engage with what was happening?
No, I was just being a contrarian.
Yeah.
I did not give my 12th the way other people did. I gave it privately. So I was always not a part of the herd. So I was like, let me just keep poking and seeing when they are like, cool, let's not speak to this guy. That's how most of my even if you see the latest show, I might say the right thing, but I might not say it in the most right way. Because I want to see where do people draw the line and how much leeway I get versus how much leeway people in power get. Which also speaks a lot about politics. कि जिन लोगों के पास power है, उनका treatment अलग है, और जो लोग powerless है, उनका treatment. So I started just questioning things, being a contrarian. My politics wasn't strong at all then. I don't know who I voted for the first time.
That's fine.
No, but I would like to believe it wasn't the BJP.
Okay.
I have very vague. The thing is, everyone was swayed by the hope that they were showing, projecting. Plus, this was the first time we saw social media impact the character assassination. Like the Pappu narrative was so strong. There were so many jokes on modified, whatever puns they could do. I was like, man, this wave is very interesting.
Did you ever buy into that narrative as a young 17-year-old?
No.
No.
No, I didn't. But there are two ways to look at any online narrative that any party tries to do, especially when they use humor. One is what you say through a meme, which is the messaging dog whistling of it. And the second is basic structure of it, which is setup, punchline, suspense, release. So you can still laugh at a wrong joke while disagreeing with the politics of it.
Interesting.
You get it? That's what a lot of regressive jokes get right. The reason why misogyny or sexist jokes work in closed rooms, even ironically, is because the suspense release part of that is right. Even progressive people in closed doors, they
will giggle at it.
Yes.
Yeah.
They will be like, हम लोग ये public में acknowledge नहीं करेंगे because इसका consequence और repercussion अलग है, but the suspense release part of it is right. So there is two parts. One is the messaging and one is the craft of it. And once I started stand-up, I had to choose what do I focus on more.
And what were those, the messaging and the craft, and which did you pick? And how did you come to that decision?
Very interesting. I was just having a discussion about this 3 days ago with someone who I really look up to. And we ended up agreeing on this, that craft तुम develop कर सकते हो, तुम intent develop नहीं कर सकते. Like if you just don't have the intent, then you're a shit person with good skill. So you do more damage. I would rather be a craftless person, but be on the right side of the argument. Then I might not get laughs, then I might get cheers, but at least I'm not propagating the wrong idea, rather than being very skillful and saying the wrong thing.
So, you call yourself a political comedian, but you're also very wary of the clean comics. I want to understand, what is a political comedian and what is a clean comic, and what is the difference between these two terms? Because you've used these in your set, and you use these in your everyday vocabulary of how you understand your work and the larger society. So tell me a bit more about that.
I have a very strong disdain towards people who take the moral high ground under the guise of we are better because we are clean, which goes for pure veg, which goes for clean comedy. Art is supposed to question any establishment is supposed to be questioned using art, because the thing is, humor is again a knee-jerk reaction, and you can disagree with the joke while still laughing at, like you can be a supporter of the establishment while appreciating a good joke on Narendra Modi. So I don't see why not do a joke on Narendra Modi. or Rahul Gandhi or anyone in power, why not do a joke on them? And what is the definition of clean comedy? There is no objective definition. Whatever the government censors, if you agree to that, you are a clean comic. Then there's no real definition. Then you're spineless. फिर तो हर देश का क्लीन कॉमेडी का वर्जन अलग हो गया, पर हर देश का वल्गर कॉमेडी का वर्जन सेम है. Who's more ethical and honest to that art form then?
And do you also, being a political comic is also a very hard job, because one, I mean, we were just talking about this when the cameras weren't rolling, because one, you've already taken the step of being a comic and not a lawyer, so you're already
Sure.
moving towards a very unconventional career path as a young person. And on top of it, then you go ahead, this time that we're living in, we're being a political comic or a comic who basically questions the establishment, is moving further away from what the ideal career or job should be. Does that ever come back to you? Maybe I shouldn't have done this.
I'll tell you what, just because you don't actively talk about politics, that doesn't mean you don't face the consequence of the political wrath. Like when the India's Got Latent thing happened. A lot of people who did not participate in the show or support the show also had to face consequences, because there was a scrutiny across the board. People lost gigs, college shows, private shows, brands didn't want to touch comedians because there was a bad rep associated to the art form. So
Tell me more. I know we've seen bits and pieces, and some people have seen flashes of what was happening during the
Sure.
latent controversy. What do you mean when you're saying that people lost gigs and shows, and that there was a magnifying glass on the whole industry?
I'll tell you what, anytime a comedian gets in trouble, social media or in person, and once it becomes news, people are scared to associate themselves with the entire art form, not just that person. There'll be like a week, 2 week long period. If it's in the news, people will be like, we don't want stand-up shows happening at the venue because we don't want to be collateral damage to this.
And what is collateral damage?
Just breaking of venue, bad mouthing, the wrong people showing up. Maybe this basement, you come here, you figure out कि यहाँ का OC नहीं मिला है, but they only come to know because a comedy show happened here, so they just don't want to be on the radar. Because एक बार तुमने कोई irregularity figure out कर ली, तो तुम्हारा bribing perpetual norm हो जाएगा. It's not like they'll take bribe once and fuck off.
It's a pattern.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That becomes the new blueprint for people to function. And everyone wants to be out of this loop.
This sort of like system of oppression and sort of, you call this the outrage economy in a way, isn't
Yes.
it?
Yes.
Explain that to me. What is the outrage economy?
Everyone has their own algorithm and they're playing to that algorithm. And outrage also has an algorithm. You figure out this is what works and you just go and replicate. Example, if a reel works by putting the hook in the beginning and you repeat the reel, there is a hook like that too, breaking of venue also. You go there, you mention the comedian's name, you break the venue and you repeat that until you become a karyakarta, until you become whatever, तुम्हारा जो भी
Until
aspiration.
you just keep getting promotions and promotions
Yeah.
and promotion within the
Yeah,
system.
Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, तुम्हारा जहाँ तक भी aspiration है.
You know, a little har in a rally.
Your aspiration can also be मुझे किसी के रैली में जाके किसी को लाफा मारना. That will get eyeballs.
So it's almost like a race towards visibility to go higher
Yes.
up in your career.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
Do you think comedians also kind of sort of play into that outrage economy, where if I say the most wildest, most insane joke that is very contrarian, for example, I will get a lot more visibility than the other person?
Are you talking about me?
I'm talking in general. I'm talking in general because there's also the flip side to the kind of work that you do, and we'll come to that right after this question.
It's a little victim blaming, I feel, because तुम articulation से outrage create कर रहे हो, but जो उसका consequence है वो articulation से नहीं आएगा. That can be anything. You get to decide how you behave. You don't get to decide how they behave. तो तुमने रील डाल दिया, उसके बाद तुम्हारा फोन नंबर लीक हो गया, तुम्हारे माँ बाप का नंबर लीक हो गया, कोई घर पे आ गया, शो कैंसिल, वेन्यू तोड़वा दिया, तो ठीक है तुमने बोल दिया एल्गोरिथम के लिए. बट इसका एक काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट भी बहुत ही इंटेलेक्चुअल काउंटर आर्ग्यूमेंट है. द पीपल गेटिंग एंग्री और outraging over a reel never have had enough access to resource to articulate their anger.
Yeah, that is also so true.
So they are only behaving in their access to resource क्योंकि हमें तोड़फोड़ ही करना आता है. मतलब उसमें भी एक privilege का hierarchy ही है.
It's like, what is a person going to do when you cannot, when you don't have the words for your
Yes,
anger, when
yes.
you can't type that anger out, when
Yes.
you can't write editorials about it.
Yes,
So
but-
you might as well just go and stop this person.
But I would
Yeah. But I mean, but to be fair, in all honesty, I don't think it still legitimizes violence of any kind.
sure I'm on the fence. Depends on who's committing that violence.
Okay, okay. Are you, do you have a bias there?
हाँ कोई भी जंगल का आदिवासी वायलेंस कर रहा है तो you didn't leave them with any other option to begin with. किसका कोड है? अरुंधति रॉय का एक बहुत अच्छा कोट है. नॉन वायलेंस इज very performative and it requires an audience. In a jungle there is no audience. अगर तुम उनकी पूरी बस्ती जला डालो, घर जला डालो और फिर भी तुम उससे नॉन वायलेंस एक्सपेक्ट करो, it's unfair on.
It's just so yeah. That
I'm not promoting violence in any way, but I'm saying
But
that.
you're making a fair argument there.
Yeah.
A sort of foil to the larger non-violence
Yeah,
argument.
I would extend that liberty to people who have been systematically oppressed for generations and have no other way to retaliate, rather than these idiots who are showing up at a venue and
Yeah.
it's that free speech वाला argument ना. Free speech में तुम जिससे agree नहीं करते उन्हें भी defend करना पड़ता है, तो they fall under that umbrella.
That umbrella. But
Yeah.
to be fair, but these are also because you talk about these hierarchies and who gets to be violent, who gets to be non-violent, who has to carry the burden of non-violence and be pious for it. These are the people that who come to your shows, who come to other comedians in their shows and break venues. They are often linked to the establishment. They often do come from certain class and caste backgrounds. So I would go on to say that when you are already coming from an oppressor space, when you are already coming from an enabler space, when you are already coming from a space that is backed by legitimate muscle and power, then I think the argument of people are allowed to be violent does not necessarily stand.
100%. 100%. If you come from any privilege, your actions are a consequence of that privilege. So वो time पे तो violence justify हो ही नहीं सकता है.
You know, I actually want to go back to the audience that you kind of work with. When the internet came into the picture, there were only certain people that kind of had access to the internet, which
Yes.
is your very upper caste, upper class, English speaking.
Elites of the society.
Elites of the society. You know, your AIB was quite elite. Your EIC
100%.
was quite elite.
All of them.
Also, these, you know, all these comedy gigs were. Yeah.
I would go ahead. Sorry to cut you off. I would go ahead to say it's still very elite.
Exactly. So I do want to come to that. So and all of these gigs that happen, they also happen in bigger cities where if you're somebody who has to, like you said, perform, then you have to pay a certain amount of token fees.
Yes.
And not many people can afford to pay. Let's say if you're earning a 10,000 rupee at the end of, you could be the funniest person in the
Yes.
world. But if you're only earning 10,000 rupees in a month, you're not going to pay a 2,000 rupee on a fee for 1 hour to perform, right? So I want to.
I'll
yeah.
break down the economics of this for you.
Yes.
If you have to get on stage, you have to pay 200 to perform. That's what the producer calculates. Look at it from the performer's point of view. It's travel cost. It's the performance cost. It is also the cost of, there are venues that also say you need to get a friend along because open mics don't sell tickets. So if you step out with a friend, the least you do is you take them out. It's that खाने पीने का expense. तुम्हें बस स्टेज पर चढ़ने के लिए 600-700 रुपए मिनिमम खर्चा करना होगा. And I'm not talking about fucking going and getting alcohol. This is basic sasta khana. Then going back home and then prepping for the next time you have to get on stage.
Yeah.
This art form is very elitist and there's a lot of economic gatekeeping that happens here. Plus, it's only in the metropolitan cities and now extending to other cities. But जो लोग भी attempt करते हैं वो लोग के पास already access to resource है. बहुत कम लोग हैं जो लोग outside of this privilege structure से attempt कर रहे हैं. And I'll tell you one very interesting thing. When people from outside this power structure come and perform here, they, rather than ideally, they should be speaking what they want to talk about. They should be doing jokes on they. But what happens is they end up being appropriated by this power structure.
Give me an example. I want to know. No names, but I still
Of course,
want
no
to know
names.
a story. Yeah.
I was just trying to, and I'll tell you why this happens. I have a friend who stays in a 1 BHK example, 1 RK. Doesn't come from a place that has cafes and all. They just hang out on the ground. Their way of killing time is not going to a comedy show or a movie. Their way of killing time is hanging out on the ground and playing cricket. It's very different from the way we kill time. उसी से हमारा privilege दिख जाता है. When that guy comes in, he wants to talk about the domestic violence he sees in his house, but he only sees people talk about therapy and iPhone and all. Over the course of 6 months, you will see his joke structure change and what he wants to talk about change. So rather than people learning कि ये बाहर का है और हमें इसके बारे में बात करना है, he is appropriated.
He almost has to mold himself to fit what
It's because the performers are upper caste, upper class people, or even if you're a minority or the cream section of minority. And the audience that affords to watch this show, 500-800 की जिनकी भी ticket है, they are also very privileged. So they are more comfortable laughing at what people from their class caste are talking about. It's not that this guy is not funny. It's just that his audience is not here. And when he gets his audience on a platform like TikTok or XYZ, wherever, this privileged class is very quick to shame and use words like chapri, cringe, and all of that.
Yeah, or an industry plant. That's a new one.
100%.
Yeah.
I realized this when TikTok got banned. When TikTok was banned, a lot of middle class or people with access to resource were happy. Not because we were against bad acting. Because अगर खराब acting problem रहती तो Tiger Shroff थोड़ी act कर देता. That's just true.
Yeah.
We had a problem with poor people trying to act. Because if you act, who will serve us? It can't be this democratized.
It's almost like you need to have that hierarchy of fame and popularity and
Yes.
access to make sure the resources are stuck and only given to certain creamy layer of the
Instagram,
society.
social media
Yeah.
has, till whatever extent it can, has democratized people to become celebrities. You don't need to have a surname to be a celebrity now. Otherwise, the only people who could act were the Khans, the Kapoors, the XYZ surnames. Right now, it's not that. Which is what a lot of people just couldn't.
digest.
Yes.
Because it just took away that one spot on the top.
Yes.
And it created many spots
There's
on
like
the
a
top.
trickle down effect.
Yeah.
Also, look at it this way. Even if you are a celebrity through XYZ platform who's not with a surname, there is still no real free will. You get it. तुमने इन्हें दिखाया कि धूम मूवी में फैंसी बाइक है, स्टूडेंट ऑफ द ईयर में फैंसी कार है. अभी इसके पास रिसोर्स नहीं है, तो ये अपनी एक्टिवा का साइलेंसर फाड़ के ही आवाज निकालेगा बिकॉज तुमने अपना ब्लूप्रिंट सेट किया है. फिर जब ये उसे कॉपी करे और फेमस बने तो तुम उसे शेम भी करते हो. तो ये कितना ओप्रेसिव स्ट्रक्चर है जहाँ पे ही इज ट्राइंग टू गेट वैलिडेशन फ्रॉम यू एंड यू आर स्टिल शेमिंग हिम फॉर इट. Inherently, this is wrong. It's just that people choose to not see this.
But I want to come back to this question that I wanted to ask, which is about the caste class of the comedy world. You're somebody who comes from an upper class,
Very
upper
privileged,
caste,
yes.
very privileged background. You're somebody who was going to do law. You live in Bombay. When you started off, you didn't have to pay, let's say, rent for.
I still don't have to.
You still don't have to pay.
Very
rent
lucky
for
that
it.
way.
So very lucky that way. And that puts you ahead of so many people.
Yes.
And so many younger comedians. But you're also somebody who can articulate and see with a lot of clarity about how the comedy system structures and hierarchies work. I want to know from you, what was it, when did you begin to realize the problems in this space?
It started off with me only.
Yes,
I'll give you
what
an
was it?
example.
Yeah.
I stayed in Navi Mumbai, which is not the comedy scene in Mumbai is very concentrated within the rich belt, which is the Bandra, Khar, Juhu, Andheri. This is where most clubs are. You can stay anywhere in the city. You have to travel to these 4 stations if you want to have a legit career. You want to practice regularly. Right now it's spreading out, but still the best clubs are in these belts. I stayed far away, like 30 kilometers away. So when I came to this belt to do my comedy, my references were places around my house, and people did not know those places. Like if I, how do I explain? अगर मैं गुड़गांव में रहता हूँ और मुझे हौस खास आना है स्टैंड अप करने के लिए, तो मैं गुड़गांव के रेफरेंसेस दूंगा, और अगर हौस खास के लोग को डीएलएफ ये सब नहीं पता है तो माय जोक डजंट वर्क हियर.
Yeah, it just won't land.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I had to pick up references that people over here will understand, which is also the appropriation I had to do. Although I don't complain about it because it's like a very stupid thing to complain about. I'm very privileged that way, and my family has also been very supportive of me doing stand up. But these small things shape your comedy, and then you also start seeing the problem that मुझे जब मैं स्टैंड अप करना चालू किया था, मुझे इस बारे में बात करना था और इस चीज के बारे में लोगों को पता ही नहीं है. सो हाउ डू आई टॉक अबाउट दिस? That always keeps hitting you. Like there are jokes that I've written 8-9 years ago and they just started working.
So what is this joke?
The joke is, हमारे यहाँ पे अल्ट्रासाउंड के पहले बच्चे का जेंडर कैसे पता चलता था? पेट के अंदर से लात आया तो बेटा है, लात पेट के बाहर से आया तो बेटी है.
Oh my god.
Which took a while. Like people just didn't laugh initially. It's also because so there are two kinds of people who laugh at this. One is the younger audience who just wants to laugh at foul things, which is not the audience I want. I'm very clear. The other audience is the politically aware audience who knows that I'm not making fun of kids being killed. I'm trying to make fun of the fact that this happens in the country and we don't acknowledge it. And that's the audience I want. Because if you're laughing at any foul thing, then it's like a buffet of बस गलत चीजें ही बोलते जाओ.
And why do you think this joke is working now and not in 2019?
I have no idea.
Okay, but would you say
It's just maybe people are more aware, maybe people are more comfortable, maybe people have just witnessed enough to be desensitized to laughing at these things.
Yesterday in your show you made a comment that the audience basically sort of came to your set to have their opinions validated.
Yes.
That it was an echo chamber. So in one way you do want a certain specific kind of audience, but you're also very critical of why they are here and why they come to watch you. Where does that contradiction come from?
There's a little bit of this disillusionment. That's how you say it, right?
Yes, disillusionment.
I just know that now that I understand that regardless of what my politics is, I still have to upload things online for this to be a career in the long term. So there is some economics to this. Exactly how there is economics to outrage. And I know that एक audience का भी economics या ego है इसमें. So I'm just trying to not get swayed by the fact that मैं कोई असली activist हूँ. Like if you need an activist, go listen to Umar. Alright, those are the people I learn from. I listen to like a speech from Ravish. I listen to Kanhaiya. I listen to whatever Kancha Elia Shepherd. I listen to these people and I'm like, मेरा opinion यहाँ से form होता है. But तुम मेरे पास activist का उम्मीद लेके मत आओ. तुम मेरे पास comedian का उम्मीद लेके आओ. You are here to laugh. I'll make you laugh, and that's the end of it. I'll try to keep my politics right, but
the joke is what you're there for.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
So-
the joke can be anything. Me calling you out is also a joke.
Yeah.
Like, let's not laugh always at the establishment. Let's learn to laugh at yourself also.
At yourself, which is also so important. And I think it just tells you best not to take yourself too seriously.
Exactly.
Yeah. But there is no conversation about, for example, you have a set, you've written a whole bunch of jokes, you try them
Can
out.
I defend it in public? That's how I look at a joke.
Okay.
Can I defend it in public? Am I standing with the oppressed or the victim? ऐसा तो बहुत सारे लोग मार खा रहे हैं देश में. मार खाने से थोड़ी डरना है. Also, I am 30 right now. लाइफ का पहला 10 साल माँ बाप मारा, दूसरा 10 साल टीचर लोग मारा, तीसरा 10 साल बीजेपी वाला मारेगा. ये तो कोर कॉम्पिटेंसी है. Violence can't. The threat of violence shouldn't dictate what is right or wrong.
Yeah.
If it's wrong, it's wrong. And then you stand with whoever the oppressed is.
It's incredible that you say that, but I do want to come back again. Are there still any jokes that you write, but they never make it make it on stage or never make it to a video. Does that happen? And when you're doing that, when you let's imagine you're standing on stage, you have this really political, really funny joke that could almost be very offensive to people, but you know you can't say it.
I always have had jokes that will offend someone or the other. You take the joke, you soften the blow, and then you do that joke.
You found your way around it.
Yes.
So craft is your crutch when it
Yes.
comes to giving
Yes.
a blow.
That's where craft is important.
Yeah.
But I would still like to say whatever I want to say.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the thing is, it's not like they are not saying whatever they want to say.
Yeah.
They are still talking trash on news channels and their rallies. तो अगर तुम बोल रहे हो तो हम क्यों नहीं बोले?
You know, because we're talking about Kunal, very recently there was a show that he did where the habitat was demolished by a bunch of people who did not like it, and of course they used the excuse of this building is illegal, and we've spoken a bit about that. But that kind of threat, what does that do to a comedian and to the owners of these comedy clubs? To what happens to the industry at large?
I'll tell you what, Kamra gave me a very interesting perspective. When the venue was being broken down, the owner called Kamra, saying that things are being broken. And Kamra was like, कांच लग जाएगा वापस. Sorry नहीं बोलने वाला हूँ. Also, just because तुमने कुछ illegal build किया, not saying that what he built is illegal. Any comedy club or any establishment participating or collaborating with a comedian is going through this, and the excuse is तुमने illegally बांधा है. तो तुम भी तो थोड़ा ओनस लो उसका. अगर कुछ इलीगली बांधा है तो तुमने ये इलीगल काम एक्सेस प्रॉफिट के लिए ही किया था, तो अभी एक्सेस लॉस भी बेयर करो उसका.
Exactly.
It's as simple as that.
But is there still fear that?
I'll tell you what, very interesting thing about fear is it depends on the person thinking about it.
Interesting. But I would imagine this has happened in Mumbai, this has happened to one venue. Now there are multiple venues across India, across multiple different cities. They know that if I bring this specific comedian who will make these specific kind of political jokes that could offend a certain group, suddenly there's a consensus amongst the larger groups.
Let's not work with this person.
Let's just not work with this person. So
Don't
what
work
is?
with me.
Don't
work with me. मेरा जोक सिर्फ कॉमेडी क्लब के अंदर थोड़ी चलेगा. मैं तो गार्डन में भी खड़े रह के हंसा सकता हूँ. तो अगर जगह तोड़वाने की इंटेंशन से परफॉर्म करना है तो हम लोग के ऑफिस पे शो करेंगे. आओ तोड़ो उसको. जोक तो कहीं पे भी क्रैक किया जा सकता है. तुम लॉजिस्टिकली साउंड हो इसीलिए हम तुम्हारे साथ काम कर रहे हैं. बट कॉमेडी क्लब्स खुलने के पहले भी तो लोग हंसा रहे थे ना एक दूसरे को. हम कहीं और परफॉर्म कर लेंगे.
But you would rather keep doing the kind of comedy that you're doing and not worry about the capital consequences of it or the monetary consequences of it.
No.
Does that ever come to your mind at all? That maybe look at all of these other comedians I started with. This wave of, there was a wave around that same period we're talking about. And a lot of people, it was windfall. The sponsors were bringing in money.
Yes.
They were one of the most popular people on the internet. They are dictating what culture is. They're dictating what cool is. They're dictating what funny is. They're dictating what kind of politics younger people should have, what is okay and what is not okay, what do you have to outrage to, what do you have to stay silent about. And they are making a lot of money. You do come from that.
They've made generational wealth.
Right. Then is there ever, and you're here talking about politics, you're here being very careful about not appropriating yourself. You're very careful about, I know where I stand, and that is costing you, it's not costing you just the psychological fear of somebody will come after me, which is huge, or the psychological fear of somebody will beat me up, but it's costing you real hard cash.
No, I'll tell you how I look at this.
Yeah.
It's only a matter of scalability from where I am at right now. I'm selling tickets, I'm doing my show, I'm making money. I can fend for myself by being where I am at right now. इसके बाद बस रूम का साइज बढ़ेगा, टिकट की प्राइस बढ़ेगी, तो कोई पैसे के अलावा टैंजिबल इंसेंटिव है नहीं. मेरे पास गाड़ी है, अब ये गाड़ी बेटर क्वालिटी की गाड़ी होगी, पर गाड़ी ही रहेगी और वो वही ट्रैफिक में अटकेगी और मैं उस गाड़ी में उतना ही चिढ़ूंगा. I would rather be in this car and criticize the traffic than keep my mouth shut. Because how much more privilege do I need to speak up? Also, it's not like जिन लोगों के पास privilege है, after a certain level, you don't face consequence. अगर शाहरुख का बच्चा जेल जा सकता है
then anybody can go to jail, right?
Exactly.
Then anybody is anti-national.
Dude, that guy has all access to every resource.
But can I also just say, he's also a Muslim man in current day India.
Sure. But it's not like other people who have spoken up have not faced the consequence, even if they're from the majority. तो तुम्हारा access to resource तुम्हारे consequence decide करता है, and I don't think किसी के पास भी इतना access है जिसके बाद वो लोग freely बोलना चालू कर. Once you are in that rat race कि नहीं मुझे X amount save up करना है इसके बाद मैं बोलूँगा, तो वो कभी नहीं होता.
That doesn't happen.
Yeah.
There is no ceiling to it.
No, then you're
It just doesn't exist.
One, then I wouldn't say you're spineless. Your motivation in life is different. You're motivated by money in life, maybe because you didn't have that money or you come from a certain place of insecurity that your family went through. So I wouldn't shame you for it. I didn't go through it. And I am doing decent enough to be where I'm at. And this is...
And you're happy with it?
I'm happy with it. क्या मेरे पास iPhone है, मैं sushi खाता हूँ, हो गया अभी इससे और better क्या होएगा?
That's actually so true.
Yeah.
And you're quite popular. People recognize
Popularity
you.
is...
You know, people recognize you on the street. You do have all those markers of external validation.
No, but that can be taken away in a second.
Yeah.
Like I can't be validated by the fact that मुझे कोई रास्ते पे पहचान रहा है, because अगर मैं वैसा validation seek करता तो मैं 10 साल तक Oblivion में perform नहीं करता.
So what is the, and that's exactly what I want to ask. Then what is the validation that you're seeking? You've got all of these other, whatever validation one could ask for.
I get on
life.
stage regularly.
Yes.
I write new jokes and I make them work. What validates me, I have uploaded 2 specials that are shot differently, not inside conventional comedy clubs, by 2 very reputed people from the film industry. If people are willing to help me and they're willing to support my work, that's validation enough.
Yeah, and that keeps you. That's something that keeps you going.
Yeah. These are people who are creatively sound. I like their work and they're willing to support me. क्या रईस कॉमेडियन लोग भी पैसे से डायरेक्टर ही हायर करेंगे ना? तो अगर मुझे कोई हेल्प ही कर रहा है तो तुम्हारा
So might as well just do it.
Yeah, मैं नहीं स्टैंड लूंगा तो फिर कौन लेगा? तुम पैसे से भी वही कर रहे हो जो मेरे को लोग फ्री में करके दे रहे हैं. The iPhone that I have has been gifted by a friend. सबसे पैसे वाला कॉमेडियन भी यही आईफोन खरीदेगा ना? तो है आ
But
गया
you
मेरे
have
पास.
it.
Yeah,
so
I
it's
have
fine.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
so
is there something that intrinsic validation and a validation of knowing that you're going to be on the right side of history whenever it gets written again, or that's not something you think about?
No.
You're just making a joke, is it?
Yeah, I'm only concerned about the joke. History, matlab, it's always written by people in power, and the way they are in power, I don't think I'll be in history in any way.
Any time. So you're not hopeful about the future, is it?
I don't know. I live by this is what's happening today and in this era, and we'll talk about it.
And do you ever feel like a bit of, because there are so many younger people, I think comedy is a space, and it is the kind of art form that instinctively, by its nature, attracts a lot of younger kids and a lot of younger adults and a lot of younger people. Do you ever feel, because you're doing a certain kind of comedy, because you have certain kind of politics, because you have certain intrinsic motivations, and you have a certain vision that sort of, and any artist who feels a certain way has some kind of vision, wants it to be reflected in their work, does it ever reach a point where you think, well, I have a responsibility towards now this next generation? Or is that not something you think
No,
about
I only
at all?
have responsibility because I hold the mic. और अगर मेरे शो में बूढ़े लोग आना चालू हो गए तो भी मैं सेम ही चीज़ बोलूँगा. My responsibility is to not platform wrong things, regardless of who's sitting in the audience. I can't be playing to the room. Because अगर कल ऑडियंस उठ के बोलना चालू कर दिया हमें डार्क जोक्स सुनने हैं, then I'm put in a spot. So it's usually not dictated by.
You started comedy, of course, again, very early, 2014, 16, 17, that period. And that's been 10 years, 10, 12, 13 years?
10 years.
10 years now, right? Yeah. What has changed over the course of this period?
More people speaking up and more people being quiet. Also, as more things happen within the scene, you come to know who people really are.
Okay, give me an example.
I
Tell
can-
me a
I
story.
wouldn't
how
name
it came.
names,
No
but-
names. We don't have to do names.
But when Munawar got arrested, there were people who are like, यार ये मुस्लिम लोग हमारे बारे में कुछ भी बात करते हैं.
Is that true?
Yeah, and there were comedians who said it. So the thing is, बस रोज मिल के स्टेज पे चढ़ने से तुम किसी को जानते नहीं हो. वो तुम्हारा वर्क कॉलीग है, तुम्हारा दोस्त नहीं है. So for you to really know who that person is or what their politics actually is, things need to happen. And in 10 years, enough things have happened for us to know कि भाई ये flaky है, इसका और मेरा politics match नहीं करता है. Which is how the scene has evolved.
But how have you evolved through this scene? You've gone in very bright-eyed. You think it's going to be fun. It's a fun job. You laugh. You go spend your evenings with a lot of people. There's bits of claps and validation.
The thing is, when
And
you
where are we now?
when you start, you are a much happier person because your objective is just to get on stage. And as you keep doing it over the years, you see people around you pop, and that's what breeds insecurity because you're like, why didn't I pop?
When did that happen to you for the first time?
No, I never looked at it that way because my aim was very different. I was like, I want to upload something that other people haven't uploaded. Like the very first video I shot, it was done very differently. We got all the fancy cameras. My director friend who helped me, he took care of the recording. He's like, everything's on the house. You just come perform. We got the fanciest cameras. He arranged audience for me. He's like, you have no social media pull. I'll do everything for you. And we did it in a way where any Netflix, Amazon, or any top quality production will be done. It's just that we didn't have a platform, so it's on my YouTube. I was like, I want, if a new person watches my stand-up, their motivation should be, मुझे इसके जैसा comedy करना है. The motivation shouldn't be, मुझे इस comedian जैसा बनना है और फिर ये brand work करना है और ये movie में इसके actor का दोस्त बनना है. If I am known for my work, you should be motivated by my work and not the success my work has gotten me.
Is there, I know in Bollywood you have the star actor and the actor. Is there in comedy a star comedian and a comedian where one is more focused on the craft, the other is more focused on the...
Every comedian-
Has that evolved in the 10 years?
Every comedian is focused on the craft. It's just that what they want to get out of that craft. Some comedians want to get fame out of their craft. Other comedians want to get laughs out of their craft. So it's just because a comedian is famous, that doesn't mean he hasn't contributed artistically to the scene. Like the most famous comedian has now opened gates कि मेरठ में दोपहर के 2 बजे weekday पे show हो सकता है.
That's actually so true. Yeah.
So like a Kapil Sharma, with all his criticism that is right कि ये sexist है, gender appropriate करता है, problematic jokes national TV पे platform होते हैं, he has also made comedy a household go-to thing where people now understand setup punchline better. ऐसा नहीं कि पहले नहीं समझता था. Whatever हास्य सम्मेलन, laughter challenge जो भी होता था, कपिल शर्मा made it more normal. Where brands now touch him as a comedian and not as a popular face who does comedy or is there for comedic value. He is not like a gimmick जहाँ पे बाल खुजा रहा है या कुछ funny चीज. This guy talks in setup punchline. So these people also have their own contribution regardless of all the problematic or criticism we have of them.
And it's okay to both appreciate these people and while also having and holding a lot of criticism.
You weigh out how much do you want to focus on what.
Do you think about your industry a lot, or do you just wake up, do your job, and come back home?
I do my job.
You do your job. You don't think
care.
about it.
No.
You know, you're a comic who does a lot of satire. I want to understand from you, what is the kind of satire that exposes a problem and the kind of satire that normalizes a problem or establishment?
I'll
How
tell
do you
you
differentiate
something very interesting. बहुत कम comics है जो लोग pro establishment joke करेंगे. No, I'll tell you what. There's dog whistling to it. They won't do a pro establishment joke, but they'll do an anti-Pakistan joke, which inherently is pro establishment. You get
So
it?
you sort of like talk the narrative
You dog
points.
whistle your way into
Yeah.
promoting current establishment while shitting down on your neighbors. So ये certain tricks है for people to give away their politics. Like if there is a Muslim character in your setup, your punchline, if it has चार बीवियां या whatever circumcision joke, it gives away what your politics is.
Yeah. And what if it's a Muslim person or a person from a similar community who's performing these
यार
jokes?
ये वाले में
Then
मेरे
does
को
that change? I don't know.
I don't know, I'm still learning about
Yeah.
it because तुम it's the N word argument. All right, you either say it enough where you appropriate it and people can't use it as ammunition against you. That's one way to look at it. Second way to look at it is तुम right wing का ही narrative आगे propagate कर रहे हो, तो are you helping or are you taking power away from it? And the thing is, I don't come from any minority for me to understand this. पता
Yeah.
नहीं सिंधी कितना minority है.
I mean, you're a refugee, so you do have a story.
Yeah,
to tell.
sure, I'm from a partition family,
Yeah.
but whoever faced partition is no more around for me to understand their trauma. One, that. Second, we made it out. We own a house in Mumbai. I speak English. I have the privilege to drop out of college. I can say literally whatever I want. I abuse on stage for a living. So I'm very privileged for me to not be understanding इसका appropriation का क्या consequence है.
I want to know from you back, and I keep going back to your early days of comedy because I think about that period quite a lot. Because when I was also very young and consuming the internet on my very first smartphone for the first time. To me, it was a world had just opened up and
Right.
content was coming to me. A new cultural language was coming to me. I was sitting in Ludhiana in Jalandhar. Very small towns where the culture that was on screen did not exist in person just yet. And it was very aspirational in a way. But I want to know from you, in that period, there were a lot of, because we've spoken about these jokes before, in that period, there were a lot of jokes on, let's say, a Rahul Gandhi. And I'm asking you this because we've spoken about how much does one add to the problem and one takes away from the problem, right? So there were lots of jokes on Rahul Gandhi. He was the establishment in those periods. Until then, of course, very quickly he wasn't. And there was a certain narrative that was built around it. Did you ever engage in those kinds of joke early on? Were you ever inspired
No.
by them?
No.
You just weren't.
No, they didn't interest me. Not that my politics was formed for me to be like, ये सही है गलत है. They just didn't interest me. As any other comedian, the way you start is you first question things that are in your immediate vicinity and what's your immediate identity. Which is why a lot of comedians do middle class jokes. Which is why a lot of comedians do jokes on their parents, because those are the only people they've actively engaged with for all these years. And once a very close friend of mine told me something very interesting. You write your first 30 about your immediate things. And once that is done, you start digging deeper. That's what shapes your first hour. When you discard that, the new hour that you write is about politics and what shapes your opinion and you as a person. And the more 1 hour shows you keep doing, the more you keep going inwards and realizing, unless you are like, मैंने middle class joke किए, middle class joke चल गए, अब मैं बस 10 middle class jokes ही लिखूंगा.
And that's just all they're going to do.
Yes, if this is my shtick, this works, then I'll just stick to this. There are comedians who do that also. And there are comedians who are okay abandoning what works for them and digging deeper, because then you also creatively grow.
As like,
Or maybe the creative growth is what your aspiration is. And for certain comedians, playing to the audience and giving them what they want is what their aspiration is.
but I want to ask you, do you feel that a lot of comedians who engage in that kind of, because there are two ways to go about it, right? That comedians who engage in those kind of jokes and sort of feeding into a larger narrative that has, in a way, led us to a situation or a place where comedians today cannot speak freely or cannot say any joke that they want to say, that they're forced to being clean comedians. Do you think that there is some kind of complicity in that? Is that the correct word?
I don't think anyone's being forced to be clean or political.
Okay.
Either you are spineless or you have a spine.
So you were just saying there is, yeah.
When people come and tell me, तुम मुंबई में रहते हो, तुम्हें रेंट नहीं भरना है, इसीलिए तुम स्टैंड ले पा रहे हो. And my counter argument is, जब भी तुम भोपाल में रहते थे तभी तुम कौन सा स्टैंड ले रहे थे? ऐसा थोड़ी कि तुम जब माँ बाप के साथ अपने होम टाउन में रहते थे तभी तुम बहुत बड़े एक्टिविस्ट थे और मुंबई आए, रेंट भरना पड़ा, इसलिए तुम चुप हो गए. If you are spineless through and through. So don't make it look like ये आर्ट फॉर्म ने तुम्हें कॉर्नर किया या सरकार ने तुम्हें कॉर्नर किया है. कोई भी सरकार पावर में रहती, तुम शायद कॉमेडियन की जगह म्यूजिशियन रहते, तो भी तुम स्पाइनलेस ही रहते थे.
That's fair. But would you say they're complicit or not? In bringing in the kind of world that we're living in, those kinds of jokes? Or do you think the other
It's
argument?
too much onus to be put
Yeah.
on an artist.
Interesting. Because the other argument is, well, you know what? That's exactly what we want. We want jokes to be on the establishment. We want jokes to be made on public figures, and we want it to be okay. We want satire to be okay. So where do you stand within these two sort of lines?
The thing is also
because they're both pretty legit, aren't they?
satire is not properly defined. And everyone has their different moral line that they don't want to cross. If you do a joke on a politician's personal life, people can turn around and be like, you have elected him as a public figure, so criticize his policies and not his personal life. For me, everything is on the table. Say whatever you want and we'll figure out इसमें क्या नया निकलता है. For you to figure out what line to be crossed and what's the new line that will be defined, you need to keep tiptoeing on the line. So somebody needs to cross it every now and then for you to know, oh, the water's warm here, don't go there.
Don't go there. That's so fair. What do you think of the next 10 years, the future of comedy in this country?
If there's a future, that's good enough.
What does that
That's
mean?
how I
How
look
do you
at it.
define a future that's good enough?
Whatever's happening right now keeps happening. और क्या ही होएगा? Comedians are in movies. They've made a lot of money. They are on all the platforms. They're the biggest names on social media.
And you're saying that's a very, very good thing.
For an industry that has only been around for not even 20 years, yeah.
But there's a
100%.
specific kind of comedy that gets that space, right? It's not the kind of comedy that is that challenges status quo.
That will never get that space. मेरे को बहुत starting very early on, I was drinking with a friend and he told me this very, again I was trying to bitch about some comedian कि ये इतना famous है, क्या गंदा करता है, ये problematic चीज़ें बोलता है, लोग क्यों देखने आते हैं इसे? And he turned around and said, are you willing to do everything that he does to have an audience? And I said no. Then he's like, you can't crib about it. You're not playing his game. The yardstick with which you are playing is very different. Know that yardstick and then stop complaining. Like a Kamra or a me not getting a Netflix special, not that I'll get it, but Kamra is way more famous. Him not getting a Netflix special, I'm sure he doesn't cry about it. He knows that this is the price you pay. And he's very okay with it.
But but I would imagine in a democracy, one shouldn't have to have any price to pay in the first place, right?
Sure. But
and have you made your peace with the fact that?
But if
well,
it's
this is
that
what it
democratic,
is?
there'll be no satire. You also need to look at it that way. If
Okay,
things are that fair, if things are that fair and you don't have to pay via opportunity cost,
Yeah.
then why would you still be questioning so many things? The reason why you question is because things are falling apart. That's what sets you apart from other people who are not questioning. The more egalitarian the world becomes, the less value of satire is. The best time to do satire is when the country is on fire.
So you think you're having a great time as a
Not that I'm
comedian.
having a great
you're
time.
having a great. You make it sound like you're having a great time.
There's a lot more material right now.
Do you get to perform all of it?
I try to perform all of it.
You try to
Unless
perform
it
all.
doesn't fit the theme that I'm working on. If that's the reason, then I might not do a joke. But otherwise, I do whatever.
Well, we've spoken about just comedy in the future. What about political comedy in the next 10 years? Do you think it'll even exist? Because think about it, there are only a handful of people who are doing that kind of comedy. There are not many.
I'll tell you what. You don't look at comedy as... This is what internet has done. There are very few political stand-up comedians. But there are way more funny content creators who are anti-establishment.
And that's also comedy for you.
That's also comedy.
Very interesting.
Anything that has a knee-jerk reaction that ends in laughter is comedy. That's bare bones of it. तो बहुत सारे लोग हैं जो लोग actively सरकार के खिलाफ बात कर रहे हैं. And it will only increase. तुम कितनों का account बंद कराओगे? और anytime you shut someone up, one more person gets angry. And any move that the government makes will cater to someone and upset someone. So you'll always have an audience that disagrees with the government and you can always keep playing to them.
How do you feel about, now that you've spent 10 years, now that you're here at this point where you're fairly successful, you've got everything that you need, your requirements, your basics are taken care of. There's also validation.
I'm not fending for survival. That's how I
you're
look at
not
it.
fending for survival.
Yes.
So we'd say you're a fairly successful comedian and you're very successful.
I would
How-
stick to not fending for survival.
Okay,
I
fair
don't know how
enough.
to define success.
Fair enough. You don't have to define success. What would you tell maybe younger people who are looking to drop out of college and do comedy in this day and age?
Don't take advice from me. Whoever, don't drop out. Do whatever comedy that you think is better. Don't look at me and choose political comedy, because everyone, the price that they pay is dependent on their risk appetite, their access to resource and their family support. मेरे पास luckily इनमें से 2 चीजें हैं या 3 चीजें, depending on
Depending on the day.
my mental health, how I wake up.
Yeah. Depending on the day, we'll find
yeah.
out.
But if you don't have one of it, 2 of it, or all 3 of it, I wouldn't look at your behavior as spineless or a moral compromise, because everyone's trying to fend for themselves. Just because I have made it happen, that won't mean I'll shame anyone for it. So do whatever. Just don't drop out. Have a backup option.
Have a backup option. And you did say that you were going to go do law again.
I
Where
keep
did that-
considering.
Have you been, I mean, does it feel, are you inspired by the fact that there's so many cases on you? You have to go through these papers anyway. You might as well have done law.
So I'll tell you something. I don't have any case on me right now.
You don't?
I don't.
How lucky for you.
Not yet. Not
Okay,
yet
not
is
yet.
the way I put it. But if I am trying to criticize how the law functions in this country, or if I have a critique of a certain law, I might as well understand it properly and how it functions. तो I was like, मुझे वो टाइम पे law में interest नहीं था, मुझे अभी interest है.
And you want to go back to it now?
I might go back. I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Where interests you now? Does it feel like a missed opportunity at all? Or
Not
no?
at all. You
Not
can
at
study
all.
whenever.
Yeah.
Right now, because you have access to internet, you can actually study about anything at any point in your life. लोग 40 की उम्र में रोबोट बना लेते हैं, तो ये तो कोई मिस्ड अपॉर्चुनिटी नहीं है.
And do you feel you'll ever practice law?
I mean, this is my fantasy that I help someone, but
Not, you don't know.
पता नहीं मेरे
You'd
को.
make a good lawyer though. Think about it. If you can get a judge to laugh at a joke and an argument.
I wish they had a sense of humor.
A good setup and a good punchline. Isn't that what a good lawyer
I'll
does?
tell you something. There's this lawyer, Surendra Gadling, who has been in jail for like 8 years now in the Bhima Koregaon case and one more case. His son is my new friend. And it really motivates me how both of them function. Like, he is very young. He must be like 23, 24. And they are still at it. They're still fighting. They're fighting for themselves and for other people. I'm like, मैं ये तो नहीं achieve कर पाऊंगा. मेरे में शायद उतना political commitment नहीं है, या शायद मेरी understanding उतनी नहीं है. But अगर मैं कुछ वैसा कर पाऊँ तो 100% I would love to.
I mean, I would have to say, I think the kind of work that you're doing through impacting culture, through your words, through taking the kind of stances that you take, I do think it shows a lot of political commitment. And it's...
Ugh.
You know,
We'll only come to know when it's
we'll come to
tested.
know
It
when
hasn't
the-
been tested yet.
We'll come to know when it's tested. But so far, so good. This is the last question. You say that you know the emergency exits to all your shows. You have a lawyer on call. You have, you said that you had to sometimes take away some bits of your material off your shows because and you said that there are certain fears that one may have, one may not have. And I want to ask you, after all of this, is it worth it? Is it
Yeah, 100%.
worth it?
I'll tell you what, as you keep doing this, you realize that you shouldn't be knowing where the fire exit is. तुम वेन्यू तोड़ने आए हो, मैं यहाँ पे परफॉर्म करने आया हूँ, तो अगर तुम इलीगल काम कर रहे हो तो तुम्हें फायर एग्जिट पता रहना चाहिए, मुझे नहीं. तो ठीक है, मतलब अभी वेन्यूज इतने बढ़े नहीं है कि मुझे नए वेन्यू का फायर एग्जिट पता रहे. आई स्टिल नो ऑल द फायर एग्जिट्स, बट आई डोंट थिंक आई विल टेक देम नाउ. I will, let's face and see.
And it's fully, completely worth it, is what you'd say.
Even if it's not worth, मतलब क्या ही है, तुम एक बार मारोगे, 2 बार मारोगे.
And then what? And then we'll see.
कितना मारोगे? At some point you will move on to someone. The thing is, if beating me up and uploading that video doesn't get you the eyeballs you want, you won't beat me up. Because you're beating me up for eyeballs. You're not beating me up because you have a political commitment. Between the two of us, you are the intellectually dishonest person. तो अगर तुम मुझे देखो, मैं 10 साल से स्टैंड अप कर रहा हूँ, जब भी मुझे कोई नहीं देख रहा था और रूम में 2 लोग थे, तभी भी मेरे जोक्स यही थे. तुम मुझे अभी मारने आ रहे हो बिकॉज मुझे लोग देख रहे हैं. अगर तुम्हें एक्चुअली दिक्कत रहती तो तुम 2 लोग में भी मुझे रोकने आ जाते थे. तो ऑल्सो अगर एक बार भागना चालू किया तो कब तक भागेंगे?
Yeah, that's so true. But thank you, Masoom, for coming on our show.
Thank
This was
you.
so nice having you. I've learned so much about
I
comedy.
hope I don't get beaten up after all.
I don't think you said anything to get beaten up at all. Hopefully, we'll find out.
We'll find out.
We'll find out.
Hello guys, this was a lot of fun. Please follow the Midnight Hour. Like, share, subscribe to their YouTube channel. If you like my work, like, share, subscribe to me also. If you don't like my work, go report account. Or any establishment. If you watch this 10 years later, another party is in power, go report their account.
Yeah, that's allowed.
Yeah. इनका अकाउंट बैन करना अलाउड है तो हमारा रिपोर्ट करना, वैसे भी हमारे रिपोर्ट करने से होता क्या है?